art. And then I said, so what is it you want me to do exactly? And they're like, we want you to write it. And that was not enough information for me. But what eventually became clear is that they wanted to develop a game and they didn't have a lot of, you know, it's like that's not the part that they were excited about. They wanted to do the part that they thought was fun. And for me, this is the part that I think is fun, so it works pretty well. Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
So good.
I've come a long way. I'm from Australia. Just curious if you guys have heard about the censorship debate that Australia's been having.
Yeah, it seems like it's much more pronounced in Australia.
Well, for example, we're not getting Mortal Kombat, which is, I know,
Being able to grip a man's spine and retrieve it is a constitutional right.
I was wondering if you guys had an opinion on the censorship of video games in other regions, and if you guys had ever actually experienced any censorship yourselves.
Man, it's hard to say, because censorship, yeah, it's hard to know, because people have different ideas about what constitutes, like, it's like, there's people disagreeing with things, and then there's like censorship, and then there's like, imagine like with the Dixie Chicks, right? So they made this CD, and then they said something on stage, and people didn't like it. So then they were destroying, so then, their stuff was being put into bonfires and burned and stomped and stuff. That's mean, but it's not really censorship. I mean, you can still print the CD and sell it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the situation that you have there is much more specific, where the work is not even available. It isn't specific, it isn't unavailable to a specific class of the citizenry. It's literally not available in your country. And we don't have that.
We haven't had that problem.
We don't have that yet. They're trying, but we don't have that yet. So it's hard. It's awfully hard for me to wrap my head around that idea. I think that there's probably a lot I don't know about Australia.
So, do you guys have an opinion on the fact that we don't get this sort of stuff, or?
I think it's unfortunate. I'm gonna play it.
But, yeah, I mean, generally speaking, we don't think that the answer to bad art or what is considered socially unacceptable art is less art.
Yeah.
We feel like the solution to almost any problem, and maybe this is just our artiness, we feel like the solution to almost any problem is more art. If you feel like there's a piece of art or a work that doesn't communicate your values, the onus is on you to create that work. And getting rid of that work doesn't create a situation where people don't want to pull out spines. I think we've been pulling out spines for a long time, or at any rate imagining we were doing it. And I don't think that's the solution. I don't think that actually solves the problem of offensive media.
I really hope that back home they hear you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello there.
Hello.
You can add me to the list of people who really loved Rain Slick Precipice.
Oh, thank you.
The
first two
chapters,
games. The chapter.
The written chapters.
Thank you so much.
I love the games too, but I wanted to point out the chapters.
You're so, I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate that. Like, it's one of those things where, it's like if we do, it's very scary for me to work without Mike. Like, if it wasn't for Mike, I wouldn't have the impetus to create most of the work that I do. And part of it is that we have a good working relationship, and part of it is that if something is bad, I can blame it on him. And I'm sure that he feels the same way. Like, we're both sort of indemnified from our creative excesses because we can always blame it on the other person. But with Precipice, there was no net, as they say in the circus. It was pure terror every time I wrote a sentence. So I really appreciate that.
It was worth it. I have two questions. First one, what was your process for writing it?
Oh man. In my mind, I was trying to create the perfect admixture of Mark Twain and H.P. Lovecraft. So I wanted something that had an element of horror, of an overarching horror, and of a fundamentally unjust universe. But I wanted there to be a sense of humor about that structure. I wanted it to be inherently ridiculous so that you could still laugh at it, even though the the themes were pretty dark. So I wanted to sort of walk that line in the middle there somewhere.
Oh, you succeeded.
Thank you.
And two, will it ever be compiled and possibly put into print for purchase at any point?
I think if I was going to print it, what I'd want to do, I'd want to add more stuff. I feel like those chapters are good, but if I was gonna do something like that, because you can read it right now and it's fun, and Erica made an awesome frame for it, and it looks very cool on the page, right?
Yes.
She killed it on that. But if I was gonna make something, if I was gonna print something like that and make you buy it, I would want to add a lot more stuff. But the first step, and I've already talked to Erica and Eric, which Eric is the server guy. I'm gonna do like a director's cut of it that includes extra chapters and also includes mouse-overs that answers the questions that you have about certain passages.
Oh, that'd be great.
With, you know, spoiler type stuff and like where I set up certain punches in later episodes, like where the inkling of that starts. So that'll be the next thing. And as soon as I get back from here, I'm gonna start writing those, and then maybe in a month or so, you'll start to see that updated version up.
Great, thank you very much.
No problem.
To the PC than the console crowd, but do you think we'll ever reach a point where we'll see kind of the death of game publishing companies? I mean, with the recent success of games like Minecraft and a lot of indie developers on Steam, do you think we'll ever reach that point, or do you think there'll always be a place for publishing companies?
I think that it depends on the scale of the product. I think that what's happened, and you're not wrong, what's happened is that indies have access to the world. I mean, that's real. No floppies, you know what I mean? Like, they have access to the planet in terms of selling that stuff, and then through Steam, you know what I mean? But those games tend to be much smaller scale. Something like Black Ops, I mean, that's an eight-figure development cost. And when you're in that situation, a publisher, somebody has to pay for that process. So I think that what's happened now is that we authentically have two tiers. I don't think that publishing is going to go away, but I think that there's an authentic space for this.
Keep going, that's a really interesting point.
I'm having a bitchin' time here.
I'm glad.
This place is sweet. I just have one question. I'm sure you guys get it all the time.
Fire away.
What's the difference between jelly and jam?
Doesn't jam have seeds in it?
Yeah, do you know? Here, my wife will answer you.
Jam has chunks.
I thought it was I can't jelly my dick in your ass.
What do you say?
I don't know what that means.
I can't jelly my dick in your ass.
I can't jelly my dick.
Oh, so you can jam. I get it. That's pretty funny.
I don't think we have that on the West Coast. I think that we do something else with our.
No, that's a good
kids.
joke.
Yeah.
I like that.
Two things, I guess. When you've got writer's block and Penny Arcade is over,
On a weekly basis.
Yeah, what happens after that? You just break for a couple hours, then you see something and you get an idea and you text Mike and you're like, oh my god, I just got this great idea.
Under the best circumstances, that's what happens. What often happens is that we take naps under our desks. I mean it. I roll up my coat and I just crawl under my desk in the place of shame where I deserve, and I think about what I did. That's what happens most of the time, because we have to get it done. We have to make a strip of some kind. It's getting progressively more yucky.
Also,
Yeah.
this is my first PAX.
Welcome.
Yes. So I'm not sure. Am I allowed to ask you to put things in the strip?
Oh yeah,
You can
I was just
certainly
saying-
ask.
No. This is very much a part of Create a Strip panel culture. This is totally normal.
So I'm an emissary from a relatively new fandom on the internet. And it's about something that's generally considered kind of girly. So whenever it gets brought up, we get made fun of.
I can't wait to hear what this is.
Dare talk about
and we really want to. It's really kind of depressing, and I just want to ask to make up for this. Can you put a pony in the script? Maybe the DS game.
A pony fandom?
Yes. Well, My Little Pony.
I'm just trying to figure out the best place for this pony.
Well, they could be playing My Little Sparkly Pony Adventure.
Just a little pony on the table?
Yeah!
Hi. I've been trying to get into D&D.
Hold on.
Alright. Thank you. I've been trying to get into D&D for about 2 years now.
Which D&D?
Any kind. I can't find anyone. I go to Rutgers, and I was hoping someone would say.
See, these are your people.
Alright.
Can you help him?
Does anyone want to play D&D? I do. And goes to Rutgers.
Alright, listen, can someone fix this problem for him in the tabletop room? Can this happen today? Okay, wait, listen. What you need to do is leave the microphone, wave your hands if you can run a game for him. You go over there, problem solved, love connection made, welcome packs. Go to this arm waver and go in peace.
Thank you, and the strip is really good.
Thank you.
Hi.
All right, keep waving them. I love you so much. Oh, keep going. You gotta go. That's aerobic.
Hi guys, it's your second year here in Boston, and I hope you've enjoyed the city as
love
much
it.
as the West Coast.
I don't know if it's weird, but so Boston to me, like obviously physically it's much older, but Boston, the atmosphere of Boston feels similar to Seattle. I don't know, is that considered offensive out here?
No.
Like for me, it's just, I feel so at home right away, just from the temperature. Oh, nice. That's actually really good.
I have a picture.
Do you have any of these at home?
I have a picture
Okay.
of the one I have at home.
But my question was about Poker Night at the Inventory, which we're very grateful that you allowed Tycho to be a part of that game.
I did.
And
I talked to them, actually.
I want to know what your experience was with how much input you had on how Tycho should look, how he should move, how he should sound like, and just overall your experience of him playing with, you know, other major.
I thought that was really interesting. So they sent me a script, and anything that I felt did not feel like Tycho. And there's no style guide. You know, I don't know what that's supposed to be in repose. I don't know what that's supposed to be like 100% of the time, but I know when something is wrong. So when it comes up, I just went through the script, changed things that I thought were absolutely wrong, and tried to fix it, and then wrote new stuff where I thought it would be funny to put in. But as far as like the art and animations, like I think that we were curious what they would do, because animating them, I mean, that's not something that we think about a lot. You know what I mean? I think we were just as curious as you were. I actually.
Hey, I'm drawn.
I actually suggested Chris Stroud for Tycho's voice. I thought that he could have been very interesting in that. But I mean, he's also done a lot of work in the Blamimations, and so maybe that would be too much. I don't know. But I think he could have killed it.
Are you happy with the voice he had in the?
Yeah, I think it's neat. But I mean, I think that any time Tycho is voiced for a while, it'll probably be somebody different. I mean, I think that there's so many humans, and it's hard to find the right one sometimes.
Thank you very much.
That's fine.
Hey, this is my first time at PAX.
Welcome aboard.
Glad to be here. Anyway, I was talking with a friend of mine, and he was going, you know, the strip is funny, but I'm not seeing what the big deal is. And, you know...
That's a great question, no?
Yeah, it got me thinking about it, and I'm like going, what does make Penny Arcade different? And I realized you guys kind of came at an early point where gaming culture wasn't really discussed at
It wasn't
all.
considered a coherent thing, I don't think.
Right, you had magazines about previews and reviews.
About product.
Right, but the opinions were purely professional opinions. I'm not. But basically, that was what struck me. It's
That's
like,
interesting.
There were very few other things at the time. I won't know the dates of like the early escapist issues
I guess that's right.
Old Man Murray, but you know.
Yeah, it's about gamers instead of games.
Right, exactly. The idea of a
No,
gamer
that's right.
culture.
No, that's smart.
Yeah.
I never, yeah, again, we try not to think about it.
And that was earlier this couple of months. I was working on a role-playing game, and I was thinking, I've got this, basically hand-created game that I'm gonna give create a specialized copy for the, you two and the, other people with Penny Arcade. And my friend is just like, don't do it. And it's like, it's just not, basically that's not ready. It could look a lot better.
It needs more love.
Yeah. But my question for you is, if you were having a hand-created RPG, what would you want? And this is tabletop, by the way, and to be absolutely clear.
My favorite, I think that probably my favorite tabletop combat system is Burning Wheel. Are you familiar with that?
Vaguely.
I mean,
I'm familiar with it.
It won't be hard. I mean, it won't be hard to get a brisk education in the tabletop room, I'm sure. But basically, it has a combat system that has a lot of surprises in it. It's a lot of double flips where people choose maneuvers that have relationships to each other. So there's almost like a board game table element right in the middle of this cool RPG. So I like surprises, basically.
Okay. Would you have any preferences for like thematics or settings or anything like that?
Oh man, I mean, typically we grab a system and then make our own themes. I mean, for us, systems are just like the mechanisms, and then we like to tart them up. So.
Okay.
Thank you. Send us a mail.
Hi guys.
Sir.
Okay, I actually have 3 questions, one of which is very brief, I promise. The first one I have is, I think most people in this room are familiar with the legend of how Robert came to work for you, with you guys.
Maybe.
I mean, you know how he just said,
How he appeared like a genie?
Yeah, pretty
when I robbed
much.
the land?
You go to a Chinese restaurant, he's like, I want to help you guys. I was just wondering, what was your reaction when this guy, who is a marketing guy, who you a marketing creature who you have never met before, comes to you say, I want to quit my job, work for you guys free for a period of time, and after that you can ask me if I'm not doing my job. Like, what was your reaction?
Yes, please.
Well, I remember at that point we were in so much trouble, like with the book.
We didn't have our own book rights.
No, we didn't have our book rights. There was like an active lawsuit going on.
We were running the site on donations, which was working, thank you, but that's not sustainable.
When you tell your wife that the internet is paying your rent, it's like they are incredibly long-suffering, and we owe them a lot, but that was probably unfair. As far as Robert goes, yeah, we knew that we needed help really bad. And in fact, you know what's funny is the first time we met him, because he just wanted to talk to us about advertising on Penny Arcade generally. And actually the first time he mailed us, we didn't mail him back, because he didn't include lunch. And then when he added the lunch portion, we were like, all right, let's go, lunchtime, let's make it happen. So we go and have lunch, and then as we were leaving, we're like, man, we need somebody like that. We need somebody who has their fucking head on, that can help us with this stuff, because we're gonna wreck it. And we don't even know how. Like we don't know how to get out of this. We were beginning to recognize that it's very Final Fantasy. Like there's a different skill set associated with each of these classes, and we can make the JPEGs, but we need help with the rest of this. You know what I mean? We need help creating a vessel for those JPEGs to float around on. So.
Yeah, I like the analogy used in that Wired interview from, I think, 4 years ago, where you said that Robert affixed you to the chariot and then rode you to victory, I guess.
Wait, he affixed us to the chariot because that's the difference, is that everyone else who had tried to manipulate us before, it was very short term. They were trying to manipulate us for a specific end, whereas Robert has been manipulating us for a solid decade. So that's the smarter plan, I think.
Okay, thanks. My second question is, What do you guys? How do you guys see yourselves like in the video game industry?
Mirror.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, just what do you guys see your role is as in the industry? Like, do you just see yourselves as guys who, you know, make JPEGs about video games and people pay attention to them for some reason, or do you think you actively, like, did you actively set out to have a role in the industry?
No. And people say that we do have that, and that's pretty cool. But generally speaking, I mean, we really do want to make comics. Like, we really do want to make comics that communicate to people. That's what we derive a lot of satisfaction from. We happen to comment on the industry, and people think that some of that commentary is interesting or valid, but we comment on the industry because we love games. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost the reverse of that construction. Like, we talk about that stuff because we like it, but really the comics are about us. The comics are about us, and it turns out there's a lot of people like us, and we were not aware of that originally.
Yeah, well, you guys do a great job, and thank you for that and everything else.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, my last question is, have you ever pooped and then smelled the smell of your poop and then thought it smelled kind of good? Like, kind of wild and exotic?
You know what? Jerry wrote that.
No. It's not true, actually. Think
like,
seriously about this. Does that seem legitimate? No.
Maybe. I mean, I could see it.
I might have added the word exotic.
And sorry, not to add more grist to the comic, but you think we could get Chris and Scott in there somehow, like, at some point?
They have their own comic.
That works. Okay, thank you so much, guys.
How you doing? This is my first PAX. It's not more of a comment than a question. I'm not a gamer. My best friend turned me on to the comic like 7 or 8 years ago. I think it's fucking hysterical.
So it's all just like non sequiturs?
This is one, yeah. But I still think it's funny, and I just wanted to applaud that. The fact that you guys can take content that is clearly driven and directed at a certain fan base and still have it be relevant and humorous to people who have no idea what
Yeah, I'm shocked to hear that,
That's
actually.
really fucking cool. Also, I gotta say, last night at like 1 a.m., me and him were downstairs playing weird games that I've never fucking seen.
Oh, yeah.
You came up to us and you gave us a box of a game and said it was a Christmas present.
Yeah.
It's called Dragon Dice.
I did that.
154 pages to learn how to fucking play it. How do you fucking play that game? We were on the fucking iPad, we went on the internet, we tried to read the shit. It didn't make any sense. I don't know what the hell it is.
I was hoping you guys could tell me. I guess some of the dice are goblins. I mean, I don't know. I guess it would be the green ones, would be the goblins. That's my guess.
He's like super stoked either way. The fact that you gave it to him, which is like
the dice look really cool.
No, they really. We opened it up and I like stacked them on top of each other and rolled them around and shit.
Yeah.
Like he's super stoked, but he's like really like, why you no gaming and freaking out and having nerd rage over it. I think it's funny, but I figure we get some help or something.
No, man, listen. Go to there's the guys who operate the store. There's the one with it's a Phone Brain. It's the one that's backed by the. Yeah, right. Phone Brain is backed by the Terrain.
Okay.
In the gaming room, and they have another one over in Exhibition.
All right.
They're the ones that would tell me about the mechanics.
Okay.
I mean, make them tell you.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Hi guys. First PAX. Great to be here.
So many first timers. I'm so glad. Thank you very much.
I got online to ask you to draw the watch, and then someone else did that. So I've been standing in line right.
But you were invested.
Yeah, trying to get you to draw something else. So, but first I have a question. Someone gave you like a special kind of soda yesterday at the Q&A.
Iron Brew.
Iron Brew. So, what did you think of that? You seem not really to like it.
Well, no, I couldn't figure out what I felt about that fluid. It had a tang of some kind.
That was one of the funnier parts of the Q&A for me. I was wondering if you could draw that with a radioactive scorpion in it.
So orange soda.
If I have time after I get the text in,
okay,
I will go nuts with that. Yeah.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Soda plus.
That was all. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man.
Okay. Hey.
Yo.
This is also my first time at PAX.
So I'm so glad. Thank you.
All right. And at one point, I tried to create a comic with a friend of mine. And
it's really hard.
I know.
Sometimes.
And we gave up because we can't work together the way you guys work together. I don't know how you do it.
Me either. I think it's about done. Yeah.
I have bad news, Jerry. I don't think I can't make the italics.
That's okay. See, that's how you do it. You meet in the middle. I can't do the italics. I respect that. You know what I mean? No, we've been actually. This is something we've been talking about a lot lately. Why is this? Why have we been talking so much about this?
Why our relationship?
Why it works at all? Because it shouldn't.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm just able to put up with your bullshit. It's insane. Why it works. It's sort of like we're very careful. It's very much a marriage in a lot of ways. Like we're very careful to respect each other's like private time, and it's entirely plausible that we will spend a day in the office. Like we share an office, we might not talk for 4 hours. You know.
Rasterize the text, select it, and skew it.
Anyway, that's
rasterize it and skew it? No, that's ridiculous. I don't understand why my text drop down is not. Hold on, listen. Shh. I need one Photoshop person. This girl in blue. I'm clicking. Click. Could you come up here? I always just click right here. I click right there where it says regular. That should go to. What is that thing? Oh.
Casey, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
Photoshop hero. So when I started out reading gaming comics, and now there's a lot of gaming.
I love that. I love that it's a genre.
Yeah, and I think you might have started that, but
I think Scott actually started before us.
Did he really?
Scott Gertz.
Now it's all italicized. Awesome. Thanks, Casey.
I started out reading.
Oh, there we go.
I started out reading an unfortunate gaming comic. I'm not going to name it.
We need not name it here.
Not going to name it, but you know what it is.
Not here in our temple.
No.
The seat of our power.
I gotta say that I think the duality you guys have going on, the way you split up your talents, makes yours significantly better than most comics I've seen. Just because you have that unique work together.
You know what though? I think that might be part of it. I think it helps that we have two people that are interested in two aspects of the work. But I think it's just as important that we have someone else there to say, that fucking sucks. You know, and it's okay for them to say it. It's okay for them to say that it sucks. I think that's just as important as dividing the tasks. That you have a critic, like a truly savage critic, in the room with you that simply will not accept anything less than you know, you putting in, you know, 40-50% of your total capacity.
Now I know you know what I'm talking about. So, final thing before I sit down.
Yeah.
Be prepared to say no to this because I'm expecting it.
No. That's a terrible sound. I don't know why that happened. Did you do that?
I didn't do anything.
Why did you do that?
I didn't do it. All right. Can I have a bro fist, please?
Bro, which one is that? Oh, is this one?
Just fist, yeah.
The terrorist fist jab?
Yes.
Can I get away with that? Could I just kick a person over off the thing? I wonder. Something to consider. Watch your ass.
Alright, been going to PAX since from the beginning. So
Yeah, I see that. I see an ancient garb.
Yeah, 05.
Right, PAX Raymond's.
So, my question's mostly for Mike.
Oh, well, get off with the spit, man.
So, I've noticed kind of a change in your style over the last couple of years.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Your lines have gotten a little skinnier, more organic, and wavier. And there's more detail marks around, like on carpet and walls and stuff like that. it feels a little bit more like Scott's work. Do you think you've been...
Capitalize that, hold on.